We're live. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. It's another Monday night chill stream, and I wanted to stream last night, but reality and my job got in the way. I was in Connecticut, in Hartford, making a delivery. I was 5 minutes late. They kept me waiting in the parking lot for 2.5 hours, and then they told me to drive the piece to Queens to drop off so they could re-deliver it the next day. And they felt that that was cheaper than me dropping it off 2 miles away at the local agent who could deliver it again in the morning. Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. In the show notes, I can't copy and paste like I used to copy and paste all the links anymore. I don't know why that is. I'm not real happy about that, as YouTube's made some sort of change like they randomly do, and it affects a bunch of us. So I don't know if I need to subscribe to my own channel to get the links in the show notes, or are they not allowing links in show notes, or are they not allowing links in show notes for certain channels? I don't fucking know. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. The title of tonight's show, Before the Sunrise, which I almost think I might have used once before. I'm not even sure if I used that once before in a previous channel, like I wiped out. But, you know, it's a cliche, but it's always darkest before the dawn, right? So a lot of stuff in the news, a lot of stuff we got to talk about, a lot of stuff going on with Bitcoin. So let's get into the big news of the day, obviously, of the week is Afghanistan. So Afghanistan, first person to ever get there, that wasn't already born in Afghanistan, was Alexander the Great. And he was there. And comically, Alexander said, we're not leaving. And then he left 10 minutes later and never showed up and never went back there again. But he left in his place Macedonian governors, you know what I mean? Greek governors to run what they called the kingdom at the time, called Bactria. And it actually lasted for like 200 or 300 years, and they had they were actually a fairly wealthy kingdom back in the day, and they had their own coins. Here's a picture of a coin from that era that's still around. So some interesting stuff. No, wait, not that. This one. Okay, so here's a silver coin from the Greco-Bactrian kingdom, established around 335 BC. And like I said, it lasted about 200 years. The face of the coin has got whoever the local king or governor was, or, you know, that's certainly not Alexander. But that helmet looks a lot like, looks like a pith helmet or a sun hat. The Greeks were famous for wearing sun hats. And then the reverse of the coin, the obverse of the coin, you have two horses and dudes with spears, and the horses are galloping. And the coin is up. It doesn't seem perfectly round, but there's a fair bit of skill in portraying that imagery. A fair bit of skill. If you look under the helmet on the left-hand side, you can see the little bit of the hair poking out below the ear and above the ear. So clean-shaven Greeks with short hair took over that country a long time ago, and like I said, they maintained control for about 200 or 300 years until it all fell apart. There's another coin that issued, different one. I'm going to show you right now, and you can find all these images on. You can just Google like Greco-Bactrian coins, and you can see images of this stuff. So if you're interested in this sort of thing, I don't know. I know they make replicas of this, right? I just found out like 5 minutes before the show. They actually make replicas of this that you can buy. So here's a gold coin with a different king, but again, clean shaven, short hair. The obverse is a nude male, actually throwing a lightning bolt. It's supposed to be Zeus, right? Throwing lightning bolts at his enemies. And like I said, since the Greeks ran what we call Afghanistan or Bactria, Pakistan, for about 200 or 300 years, my guess is that they were a lot better at it than America was, because America has done exceptionally poorly in Afghanistan. But then again, the purpose of America in Afghanistan is not at all what people are saying it is or what they think it is. And the purpose of Afghanistan, we're going to have to switch to the concept of, I have to talk about the Silk Road, the original Silk Road, the road from Europe into China, you know what I mean? Where all sorts of fortunes could be made. There were bandits everywhere. The famous saying, whether the adage that the dog barks but the caravan moves on, the caravans that went from east to west along the Silk Road did this for a very long time because there was enormous monies to be made, and there was also enormous crimes. There was a lot of banditry. There was a lot of stuff like that. So in the modern era, let me see what we're talking about here. In the modern era, we have this guy. Okay. Let's show you this dude. Now all of a sudden my allergies are kicking in. Like all day I don't cough or sputter or have trouble breathing, but now all of a sudden my allergies kick in. By the way, the last show I did when I was screaming at OV, it's like that show got 71 views. Every other video I ever made, it got like 22 views. So wait a minute, whatever. I meant to do this. Point. Do that. Let's add to stream again. So back in 2011, 2013, when Bitcoin was really, really, really new, there was an American kid called Ross Ulbricht. And he loved Bitcoin and he loved the idea of what it could do, and it was total freedom, blah, 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 blah. And he decided to start a website called The Silk Road, after historically the Silk Road that I was just discussing, that went from China to Rome, where anything could be bought and sold, and Bitcoin was the currency. Ross Ulbricht was arrested for drug offenses and I think tax evasion, and he's currently doing about 40 years. Every now and then they go to Arizona and talk to him, and they get some audio from him or whatever. And he's like, wow, this is great, guys. This is really exciting what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. I love to see Bitcoin. But by the way, he was like, into Bitcoin when Bitcoin, like 2011, 2013, Bitcoin was like, I don't know, $65. So for him to see Bitcoin, which at the time of this show is $46,200 or so on Monday night. Hey, Virgil Doc, welcome to the show. At the time, Ross Ulbricht was opened up the website Silk Road, which was going to be very libertarian. Like anything was for sale, everything was for sale. Bitcoin was the currency. He got shut down. He got thrown in prison for 40 years. And the Rothbardian Bitcoin people, they have this petition on whatever it is, petitionamerica.org, like free Ross Ulbricht. He needs to be, he doesn't deserve to be in jail. Well, you can free people that have been put in prison for all kind of felonies, and you could free Ross Ulbricht. Let's get a closer picture of him. Nice looking kid, you know what I mean, but not real smart, right? He decided to sell everything, including drugs, weapons, kiddie porn, human trafficking online, because he had this Rothbardian libertarian ideal, and it ended up putting him in maximum security in Arizona State Prison. So I think he has some very, very different ideas on what the fuck freedom means and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. But when your ideas are not grounded in reality, when you do not have an understanding of what it is you're doing and how to do it, then you end up in prison. If you get it right, you get to rule Bactria like the Greco-Macedonians ruled back here for 200 years. So you need to understand the way the real world works. And a lot of these idealists, a lot of the people you see on social media, whether they're paid shills or they're legit idealists, they don't understand how the real world works. And the left, which is a puppet of the Rothschilds, and the right, which is either the paid opposition, right, controlled opposition, or Joshua Dietz. Welcome to the show, Josh. I got to yell at you for not putting me in your little fucking whatever rainbow thing. I was not in your Twitter rainbow thing with all the people you follow. I'm hurt. Look at me. This is the face of a man who's deeply hurt, deeply, deeply wounded. I didn't think you were going to show up. I was going to say that anyway, but I didn't think you were going to show up. Anyway, yes, he set himself up. When you don't understand how the real world works, the real world has a tendency to reframe your thinking in violent and permanent ways. This is what people don't comprehend. What's happening in Afghanistan is people say, well, you have all these people that they're posting these videos of the people on the airplanes, like they're tying themselves to the landing gear of the airplane or whatever they're doing, or they're on the whatever the flaps that they cover the wheels on the airplane are, and these fucking B-52s take off, and everyone's like, oh my God, all these people are dying. Listen, I don't give a fuck. You've never been like in a bad place. Most of these people who ever watch these streams, you've never been in a real bad place, dangerous place where there's gunfire, much less a fucking war zone like Afghanistan, right? And you're the last motherfuckers who were there. Everybody with high rank got out. They got out months ago, like way months ago, because they have careers waiting for them in the Pentagon or whatever. The poor schmucks, the last few motherfuckers out are like, we're leaving, right? So those pilots in that B-52 are like, we're fucking taking off. I don't give a fuck what's on the landing gear. We're taking off, and we'll crash land on the other fucking end. We'll crash land in Wiesbaden, wherever the fuck the plane fucking lands. We're leaving, okay? If you have to die in order for us to leave, we don't give a fuck. And honestly, whatever is left of my American patriotism, I don't give a fuck. Those guys, they don't understand why they're there. They don't know. Listen, they're all in the military. It's one team, one fight, blah, 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 blah. Time to go home. Time to fucking go home. You standing between me and going home, motherfucker, you're dying. And I don't care how you die. They say we killed 5 civilians at the airport. I don't care if we killed 500. I don't care if we killed 5,000. Me and all my buddies who were stuck, who were stationed here, who were fucking ordered to come here and do a job because we believe in the flag and the government and blah, 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 blah. It's time for us to finally go home. We're going home. And all of my friends, me and all my friends are going home. And if you have to die in order for that to happen, you have to fucking die. Now, you're seeing that on social media and you think, yeah, well, that's far away. It's 10,000 miles away in a foreign country, blah, 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 war zone. But that's going to come here. One, they're going to bring the Afghans here. Or they're going to, interestingly, they're going to send a lot of them to Greece as well. They just burned the country. Now they're going to fill it full of terrorists. But that's a European problem. You don't understand. I need to do what I need to do, and I don't give a fuck what the consequences are. Because the world of Afghanistan doesn't have police, doesn't have courts, doesn't have prisons that affect Americans. And when I talk about don't do anything in America, don't do a fucking thing. Don't join any group. Don't do nothing. We do not control the police, the courts, or the prisons. Anything you do that you think is going to make a statement is going to get you locked in a fucking, like Ross Ulbricht, in a fucking Supermax facility. You don't even understand the rules. I used to talk about Prison Tube, and I still love Prison Tube. I like the idea of it anyway. There's a bunch of channels that, well, they all got wiped out, but I remember them. It's like 1090 Jake, 1090 Jake, 1090 Jake, the kid's up in Massachusetts. But he was a Crip. He was a white Crip in Florida. There's Lockdown 23-1, blah, 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 blah. And when I tell you like wannabe intellectuals, you're not going to prison with Václav Havel and Alexander Solzhenitsyn and fucking Viktor Orban, and you're not wearing like, oh, I'm wearing a scarf and it's very chilly, it's drafty in this gulag. Oh, let's talk about the principles of freedom and oppression. Motherfucker, you're going to jail with dudes named Pooh Shiesty, Mother Dearest, and Dead on Row. Okay? And they're going to come into your cell with a knife. No shit. They're going to come into your cell because they know you're soft. They're going to come into your cell with a knife and go, blood on my knife or shit on my dick. And you know what? You're going to be wearing lipstick by the end of the first fucking day. Probably going to happen before you get to prison. It's probably when you're still in county, you know? And this, talk all your Nietzsche shit, all your fucking white, whatever, white supremacy, whatever, fuck. It ain't going to work. You got to throw your own punches. You got to fight these motherfuckers on your own. And you suck at that. You sit there, you know, like doing no exercise. You don't lift. You don't practice fucking anything. Like you just sit there going, oh, I'm so much smarter than everyone else. Yeah, until you end up fucking, you know, like I said, you're not going into gulag. There's not going to be gulags. You're going to prison with Pooh Shiesty, Dead on Row, and fucking the fucking Haitian Zoe gang from fucking Florida. You have no idea what's going to happen to you. Okay, you're going to see dudes with keloid scars across their face. You don't even know how they got that. You know what I mean? You don't even know what keloids are. You don't want to look at that. Your ability to intellectualize reality removes you from reality, and so you think, oh well, as soon as our fucking monarchical fucking hero comes up out of the fucking dustbin of history, right? It's like the super monarch. You are as delusional, like you're as delusional as the shitlibs that fucking see COVID everywhere and see microaggressions. Like, oh, you microaggressed me because you were white and you said hello. You were the white politeness is white violence against people of color, BIPOC, people of color, whatever the fuck. You're as delusional as they are. I swear to God, you really are. Because you live in a fucking world that doesn't fucking exist. You don't want to hear this. You don't like this. And you cry. Oh, I have people. I looked at the list of people I emailed the fucking link to, and I'm seeing like unsubscribe. This one left. This one left. Go ahead, fucking leave. You know what I mean? You think you could leave reality? Well, you can for a little while until it comes to your fucking door. It's all, listen, it's all fun and games watching Afghans fall out of fucking airplanes and people get shot and shit burning until it's outside your door. Then it's going to be very, very, very different. You're not equipped for this. Not at all. You're not even close to equipped for this. You know what I mean? And if you're sitting there going, no, listen, James, you don't understand. You're a dummy, right? You're down at that level. I'm up at this level. I'm way above you here, like this, right? And I'm way above you. And you don't understand that none of this is ever going to affect me. I just sit here in this Olympian point of view. And I look down. I look down on people like you. And I make proclamations and I make pronouncements. You know what? It's going to get to you. It's going to get to you. That's the nature of dramatic change. That's the nature of revolution. And America's loss in Afghanistan is not what you think it is. People going, oh, the Afghans are based. And I was some Twitter mutuals that I'm in contact with that I DM fairly regularly are like, well, the Afghanis, the Taliban, Tom Anderson, the 1,200-pound powerlifting dude with the 28-year-old virgin girlfriend. Yes, he's here. He's here, folks. Welcome him to the chat. Let me go back. Fucking goddamn it! Oh, this blows. All my shit just got blown out. What happened? Do I have to riff? Do I really have to riff? I have to riff when I'm drunk? Fuck! How could this happen? By the way, I'm drinking like a cheap bottle of red wine. Okay, so the Silk Road, the real Silk Road. If I could fucking show you, because God, fuck did my fucking Gmail fuck up. Add device. How about go fuck your mother? I don't know why that shit just popped up on my screen. Oh, Yes, I want that. That account. I choose that account. Oh, I have screenshots. Tons of screenshots. How did they all just vanish? Okay, look at me clicking. This is very, very irritating. All right. So the Silk Road and Bactria was, Afghanistan is considered the what? The graveyard of empires. Alexander's empire, the Roman Empire, the British Empire, and now the American Empire, right? That's the extent. You get there and you don't get any further. And that's the end of things, right? Well, that's from the West. From the East, from China, and China has won this. China's One Belt, One Road initiative goes through Afghanistan, into Iraq, into Iran, into Turkey, into the Mediterranean, into Europe. The war in Afghanistan, even though opium production went up from 0 in 2001 when the Taliban first took over to 9,000 tons of heroin or opium in 2017. That opium production ramped up through the roof 35 times. So not 350%, 3,500%. Now we know who controls the opium business, right? We know who. The Sassoon family, a Jewish family from Iraq, blah, 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 married to the Rothschilds back in the day. So that the Taliban outlawed opium farming or growing opium in 2001. And in the entire time, the U.S. was in Afghanistan, opium production ramped up through the roof. We can, we understand why that is, right? We understand the CIA and the people that control the CIA want to make money. You know what I mean? So, but largely America was seeking to control global finance, control the upcoming Silk Road. And America losing to China in this is the big story. It's not Afghans falling off the fucking airplane. It's not the lives lost. It's not the fucking money wasted. That's not it. This is the rise of China, and we can't stop it. This is China being in the bitch position for decades and decades and decades. Is no longer in the bitch position. It has gotten a huge strategic goal. It owns Afghanistan. If the fucking Gmail would load, you fucking cocksucker. I cannot hate on this enough. I literally cannot hate on this enough. Why can't I get my fucking Gmail? Wow, that pisses me off. Wow, that fucking pisses me off. I am going to shut off every fucking resource I can possibly shut off. To get what I want, and I don't know if I'm going to fucking get what I want. I got a ton of screenshots. I got screenshots from George Soros, a bunch of other people, and Gmail just doesn't want to work for me. Now, mind you, we're running this off of a potato with 2 fucking wires coming out of it, but. This loss is a much bigger loss than you think it is. You think, yes, Global Homo lost, but it lost to probably something worse. You know what I mean? The Chinese are not your friends. The Taliban are not your friends. You know what I mean? All the Taliban they're going to bring to America, they're going to do another Pulse nightclub shootings or 10 more Pulse nightclub shootings. That's going to be more gun control in the U.S. You know what I mean? They're going to drain the textiles from welfare. This fucking thing, this cocksucking motherfucking thing. Wow, I'm fucking pissed. Wow, I'm fucking unhappy. Oh, all right, So let me go back to my fucking notes. China won Afghanistan, and it won part of the Silk Road. And this has to do a lot with global commerce in the future. China's GDP is like fucking 18% this year. The reason why is because America has no factories anymore. While you're locked in your house getting your stimmy check and ordering shit over Amazon, Amazon orders that shit from China. Amazon, Walmart, everyone else orders that shit from China. So Chinese factories are humming, right? China's fucking booming, and we are dying, literally. BlackRock and other private equity firms are now, because of the extension of evictions, you can't evict anyone. You know, landlords can't make their mortgage payments, so they default to the bank. Somebody takes over that property, and you know what? A lot of property is going to be default forever, and it's going to be a disaster. But BlackRock is going to pick the choicest rental properties from the choicest markets, and they're going to have them at pennies on the dollar. That's what this is. The fact that the elites, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, the Warren Buffetts, have doubled their fortune. Bill Gates has doubled his fortune during this COVID situation. The fact that that's happened, that's why this continues. They stumbled, and trust me, they stumbled into this thing by accident, and it's doubled the amount of money they have, and they just want to keep it going. Delta variant, Gamma variant, you know, whatever, just keep adding on. Hexagon variant, Indigo variant, Juliet variant. It's not going to fucking end, because the elites go, well, we doubled our fortune, let's double it again. Let's double it again. That's why it's not going to fucking end. They control your politicians, and your politicians are all controlled by money. All of this, of course, has everything to do with Bitcoin. And I'm gonna punch this fucking computer. I fucking hate this on levels that I really cannot. I'm going to try once again. I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to fucking try again. So, since money controls everything, and the money printer go burr, I had a screenshot of a Twitter news article. Joe Biden has permanently increased the amount of EBT, electronic benefits transfer, food stamps, to all Americans. So that means more money goes to more poor people to make them fatter, to give them more health problems. And 5, 10, 15 years down the road, they're going to have more diabetes, more heart disease, more fucking COPD, more of everything, obesity-related diseases. And that's going to put too much of a strain on the limited fucking Medicare system. So we're going to have to do Medicare for all. And what's that going to cost, right? So the EBT cost is going to go up. The Medicaid cost is going to go up. And within Bitcoin, there's a concept of this super cycle. That is to say, Bitcoin from 2009 to today had 4-year cycles. It would be every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin, the reward for mining Bitcoin would be cut in half. And then about a year after that, the supply shock, because there wasn't as much Bitcoin available, would drive the price higher. Demand was going up, the supply was going down, the so-called halving. Bitcoin halvings, a year or so, 18 months out, drive the price up. So someone theorized that eventually this phenomenon would end, that the demand would just go higher and higher and higher. Doesn't matter whether they're having or not having. And one could argue that the money printer going like crazy because everyone's getting more EBT. All these fat Mexicans, all these skinny Afghanis, all these whatever are going to come here and get more free shit and more expensive food everywhere because the government is subsidizing food everywhere, right? This will drive everything that is not US dollar higher. Duh. So real estate higher, stock market higher, gold higher, everything higher, including Bitcoin, okay? And it's not going to end because people aren't going to stop eating. That guy, he's on Twitter, Chef Andrew Gruel. He's a West Coast chef. He's like a celebrity chef on the West Coast. And he said, you know, like months ago, I used to stream with Jonathan Pohl, and I said, you know, you buy a bag of chips. It used to say 450 calories. You buy the same bag of chips today. It says, you know, last year it was 450 calories. This year it's 400 calories, and you laugh, ha ha ha. You know, you blue collar pro, you fucking eat chips at a fucking gas station on the fucking interstate. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. However, that phenomenon of things getting more expensive, you know, has now hit the high-end restaurants, fine dining restaurants, places that really I wouldn't go to. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't go to there. But lobster is off the menu because the price of lobsters in America has tripled, has gone up 300% in 1 month. So you're trying to get laid, like some pretty girl, whatever, you want to take her out, you want to buy her a fucking lobster. What's that going to cost you? You know what I mean? In Manhattan, I'm guessing, like for her entree alone, like 100 and a quarter, $140 just for the entree, like just for that alone, not including her appetizer, whatever, right? You know what I mean? And the bottle of wine and dessert and the hotel room afterwards. So are there people who can spend that? Oh, sure there are. Tons of. There's still a lot of people in Manhattan who can spend that. Is that enough to sustain the seafood industry? No, I don't think so. As the price of everything goes up, and the government decides we're going to subsidize EBT even more, and we're already subsidizing it. This drives the super cycle narrative. Will it happen or wouldn't it happen? I don't know. One of the things, and I want to fucking punch this fucking computer. I swear to fucking God, I want to shoot this fucking computer. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't normally touch guns when I'm drunk, but I want to literally shoot this fucking computer right now. I really, really, really want to go open up the fucking gun safe and just shoot this fucking thing. I am that unhappy. I am profoundly unhappy because I have all this cool screen share shit that I can't screen share. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to describe it to you as best I can. There's a Goldman Sachs / Rothschild / Federal Reserve social media asset called Marin the astrologer, Marin Altman. It's a female. She dresses all in red, blah, 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 blah. Last Sunday, she talked about she opened a short position on crypto. She didn't say crypto. She didn't say Bitcoin. But in America, you can only short Bitcoin through the CME, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. At the time, Bitcoin was $43,000 or so. All week, Bitcoin has been $45,000, $46,000. And as the start of the show, it was $46,200. So when you short a commodity, a stock, whatever, you're expecting the price to go down, okay? If the price goes up, you lose money. So her short is losing money. In the meantime, she has gone to Miami and taken pictures with Negroes and posted them on social media. She's like sitting there with her vegetarian bowl of acai berries or whatever fucking bullshit. You know, looking, by the way, particularly unhealthy with some Negro dude. It's all about distraction. She doesn't say, by the way, my astrological forecast that Bitcoin would dump from 43 lower. She doesn't mention that it has gone from 43 higher. She doesn't go, oh, by the way, I'm losing. Like, you know, remember what I told you? I was wrong. She doesn't fucking say that. Now she's taking a picture with some fucking dindu and whatever, some other fucking shit. So things aren't going the way that BlackRock and the people who want to control Bitcoin want it to go. Why is that? I had a fucking graph to show you this, but come on, please fucking show me. Oh, holy fucking. Okay. Oh, yeah. This is like literally, I don't know. You know what? I don't really believe in Jesus, but I think he might be on the internet today. Come on. Wow. This is cosmically significant. this happen. Okay. Share screen. Look at this. You don't have to look at me anymore. You'll have to still hear my fucking Joey Bag of Donuts voice, but you wouldn't have to look at me anymore. Okay. Oi, 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 oi. Here is a chart, a screen. What this shows, if you look at the left-hand side of the chart, there's a little tiny green triangle. That's the amount of Bitcoin that goes into the Bitcoin exchanges. People who are selling their Bitcoin to Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, etc., etc. And then this is from last year. Then you see these red lines going down, down, down. This is Bitcoin going out of exchanges into cold storage, into some sort of offline storage. Okay, so you see massive amounts of Bitcoin going out. The red is Bitcoin going out of the exchanges. There's a tiny, in the middle of the picture, a tiny little green dot where some people sold. But the red is people, whether individuals or institutions, accumulating Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin. Okay. On the right-hand side of the picture, you see a big green triangle. That's May of this year, where $200 billion of Bitcoin was dumped on all the exchanges worldwide. Now, Bitcoin was only worth, at the time, $1 trillion. So about 1/5 of the entire value of all the Bitcoin on the planet Earth got dumped within a 30-day period. That's that big green triangle right there. So what was this? This was Goldman Sachs, the Rothschilds, this was the Federal Reserve looking to manipulate the market. How? They're selling at the top, 64,000, dumping, okay? Dumping Bitcoin and driving the price lower and lower and lower. Greater supply, lower demand, okay? In addition to that, they're using put contracts essentially put contracts to drive the price lower still, to make it seem like, one, everyone's getting rid of this, and two, all the professionals are betting that it's going to go down. And so they drove the price from 64,000 on May 15th down to 28,800 on what, I don't know what the date was. And then it sort of recovered because they had nothing left to dump. And then since then, you've seen these red lines. And this is individuals and institutions, publicly traded companies, etc., acquiring Bitcoin, taking it off the exchanges. So what was the goal here? The goal here was probably what really works well in the stock market, because the stock market, nobody gives a fuck about GM. Nobody gives a fuck about Apple or Tesla or whatever. It's just about making a profit, right? Just, I want to get in when it's, I want to buy low, I want to sell high, I want to get out with a big bag of US dollars, a big bag of fiat. So these negative events, this sort of, this ability to show up, make your enemy drop his weapons and run off the field of battle, right? If you look at it from a militaristic point of view, the central bankers show up, they use fear, uncertainty, and doubt, they use put options, they dump the stock that they have, make it seem like nobody wants this thing, and if you stay in it, you're going to lose money. And since you're only in it for the money, you get out as fast as you can, hoping to preserve your profit. The elites drive the commodity, the stock, whatever, super low, buy it back for pennies, and then profit as it goes back to its normal price. So this is what they do in the traditional stock markets worldwide. And they attempted to do the exact same thing in the Bitcoin market this year. In fact, and one could argue they maybe succeeded. It's difficult to tell. They certainly somebody dumped $200 billion worth of Bitcoin and drove the price down, okay? However, the price has recovered and not much change has happened in Bitcoin. That is to say, most of the big Bitcoin holders hung on to their Bitcoin. So whoever did this lost a fair amount of money. Now, they have an endless amount of money, but they need to do something that returns greater and greater returns. They cannot have diminishing returns. And a lot of people, when this big green mountain appeared, poor, relatively small outfits, when Bitcoin was 64,000, said, hey, that's too expensive. But when it dropped to 50, 40, 30,000, they went, oh yeah, let's jump back in. And big companies bought big chunks, 100 million, 200 million, 50, $25 million worth of Bitcoin. And they have ridden that back up to today's current price, which is, like I said, 46,200 or 300. So we've recovered largely from this dump. This was a one-off kind of thing that the central bankers expected to be able to replicate, because they expected that all the Bitcoin holders would see the price fall. They would get scared, dump their Bitcoin because their profits were lost. And then the central banks would be able to buy this up on the cheap. BlackRock, et cetera, would be able to buy this up on the cheap. However, you don't understand Bitcoin and Bitcoiners. We are fucking insane. Relative to everyone else you know, we are insane. It's a very common thing in Bitcoin to say, fix the money, fix the world. That's a really common thing to say. Fix the money, fix the world. We're not selling. When there was the video with Max Kaiser, and I've played it before. Max Kaiser comes out at Bitcoin Miami 2021, after Elon Musk did his whole thing. We're not taking Bitcoin for Tesla cars anymore. And Max Kaiser, he's like a loon with fucking John Lennon glasses and a fucking white suit. And he goes, fuck Elon, we're not selling. And the crowd goes nuts. They don't understand that. Their worldview is, we are the elites. We can scare the fuck out of the proles and the plebs. We can make them do what you want to do. But Bitcoiners are a different people. We're an entirely different people with a different worldview. There are people that say, I don't care what the price is, I'll keep buying until it goes to zero, and I'll own all 21 million. There are enough people doing that the classic strategy of, let's dump this XYZ commodity, right, or stock, and then everyone will run away from it, and then we'll pick it up for pennies. This is what the Rothschilds did, that literally took over England. They did this after the fucking Battle of Waterloo, right? They sent the runner back to England and said, Napoleon has won, England is lost, and all English guys were like, fuck, dump all the stock. And they sold all their companies. The Rothschilds bought their stock for pennies, right? And then the next day when somebody else said, oh, by the way, Napoleon lost, you guys won. They're like, what the fuck do you mean? I sold my entire company for 1/100th of its value. And the Rothschilds were like, yes. And they took over the whole fucking country. They think they can do that. They did that to take over England. They think they can do that to take over the entire world. Well, when you're in it just for the money, right? When all you're trying to do is make a quick bag of fiat so you can snort cocaine out of a supermodel's ass crack and drive a fucking Lamborghini, you know what? You're weak. You have weak hands, and you're going to lose. But we are different fucking people. We have a different worldview and a different understanding of history and why we're doing what we're doing. So, you're going to have a much tougher time, much tougher time. So the Bitcoin price, which Marin, the astrologer, shorted at 43,000, is at 46 and change right now. So it's gone against her, and it's probably going to continue to go against her. The reason why I follow that account is because I know that's accounts like this, right? Even the lies they tell you, you can figure out what it is. You can figure out important things from what lies they tell you, right? The lies they tell you indicate what you should be paying attention to. Anyway, who's here? Zedez. Hey, Zedez. How's it going? Speculation, blah, 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 blah. And Japanese. Let the Japanese buy our seafood. I don't give a fuck. Okay. Let's see. What else is going on here? Fuck, there's a million things here. There's a million things. Here's what I'm going to do. I got to go. You know what? Considering I started drinking 2 hours before the stream, you're going to have to give me a minute, and I'll have to BRB, and I will be back shortly. Judas Fly Chai Waffen, welcome to the show. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. Okay, so the loss in Afghanistan is America's failure to hold down China. China is now rising in a way that America can no longer hold it down. China has all of America's factories, okay? Everything we have, whether it's your little masks or all the medical stuff, all that's made in China. China's GDP is through the fucking roof, okay? And it's being fed hilariously by stimmy checks and unemployment, et cetera, et cetera. You can't leave your house, can't go to a store, right? The further they crank down. Now, the elites that run the West, they don't really give a fuck. They don't know how to fight China, but they're pretty sure they can beat it somehow, right? So if in the short run, China's factories are humming like crazy, its GDP is through the roof, its fucking employment numbers are like 95% or more, that's fine. While America's fucking GDP plummets to zero, the employment numbers or unemployment numbers skyrocket, right? And everyone gets used to sitting home and just fucking eating free fucking food delivered by fucking Uber Eats or fucking DoorDash. You can see where this is going, right? This is not gonna end fucking well. Now for the elites, it doesn't make a fucking difference. Like it does not make a fucking difference. To them, everything's gonna be just fine. For the rest of us, bring in 100,000 Afghani refugees, all of whom know how to use guns, and they're probably going to be put in red states where they can buy guns, and they'll go up shooting shopping malls. God knows what the fuck they're going to fucking do, right? That's more gun control for us. That's more insane uncertainty. You think, well, I'm just going to go to Walmart or the supermarket and buy this or that with the limited amount of dollars you have, with the price of food going higher and higher, because if you're on EBT, you're subsidized. You just got a 25% increase in the amount of food you can eat each fucking month if you want EBT, right? So life is good for you. You're going to the supermarket, you know what I mean? You'll get the fucking jab, and the jab is bullshit. It's a control issue. It's bullshit. I know one guy, a Colombian guy I know who got, he got the Johnson & Johnson jab, both of them, nothing happened. Just boom, boom, 2 shots, done. I know another guy, a Guyanese guy named Brian. He got the Pfizer jab, and in the first jab he got, like his arm hurt, like not the day of, the day after, his arm was burning, and then he went a week later, whatever, 10 days, whatever the fuck, he go to the next one, and he got the second one, and he had like a fever, and he was sweating for like 24 hours. It was chills and fever. You know, like the flu or something like that, and it was gone. So those are 2 people I know IRL who've taken the jab, and one had 0 side effects, and one had mild side effects. Everybody knows it's all about control. It's all about all the money going as far as it can up to the very, very, very top. Okay. Here we go. Let's shut up. This is a good Twitter follow. I think it's conspiracybot.com, conspiracybot or @conspiracybot. Part of the reason why the right wing or the right always loses, they won't fucking talk about this shit. You simply won't talk about this, right? Here it is. Let's get closer. Since this pandemic started, workers around the world have lost $3.7 trillion, while billionaires have gained $3.9 trillion. This is the fastest and largest wealth transfer in history, yet nobody wants to talk about it. It isn't about imposing communism. It's about the elites getting even richer. Like I said earlier, they double their wealth. Well, why can't they do it again? If they use the government to squeeze $3.9 trillion out of the poor people, why can't they use the government to squeeze $7.2 trillion? Why not? Why can't you do it? Well, we just need to come up with the Delta variant, the Gamma variant, the Epsilon variant of COVID, right? Another federal agency is going to say this or that, and another governor or mayor is going to insist on this or that, you know. And if all the restaurants go out of business, and if all the rental properties in your zip code go out of business, so what? BlackRock has plenty of money to buy them up, and then you can live there again, but you're going to be in debt. You know, you're going to be in debt to BlackRock for the next 15 fucking years, but at least you don't have to move. You know, so this is what's happening now. As China, like I said, builds the Silk Road, the most important thing from China to Afghanistan, it was like block number one, and they just won that. Okay, everything else, Iran's going to be easy. Iran will do anything that's anti-America. You know what I mean? I don't think Iran can fall into China's arms fast enough. You know what I mean? And Turkey, now that they've been publicly rebuked for the Armenian genocide, you know what I mean? They're going to start looking at China going, well, you know what? We're Byzantine. We can go either way. You know what I mean? They're the original transgender government. So, Tom Anderson in the chat. Rent is getting out of control in America. Yeah, it has been for a long, long, long time. What is the argument for raising rents? You know what I mean? How does if it's that tax rates have gone higher? Well, okay, I guess tax rates. You could vote on that, but these middlemen, literally rent seekers. What is the justification? Well, the law allows it. Well, this is why we Bitcoin. This is why things that you must have. You must have food, shelter, and clothing, and medical care, right? And when you're older, when you're very young and you're very old, you need medical care. In between, you don't need so much medical care. That's why I tell people, lift fucking weights, take creatine, eat fucking honey, stop smoking. You know what I mean? Because your social media credit score, that you have a cartoon frog avatar, you said negative things about this candidate or that candidate, or you indicated some support for something that appears to be right wing. Sooner or later, when you're old, you may not think of this. Well, I'm only 20 or 30 now, but when you're 50 or 60, and maybe you need medical care, maybe shit hasn't gone too well because you're such a genius. You're sitting there, you're reading your fucking, Julius Evola magazine or whatever the fuck gay shit you fucking read all day while someone else does fucking real work, right? Sooner or later, you're going to need healthcare because you haven't been taking care of your body. You haven't been stressing your body in a productive fashion that produces adaptations that are better. You haven't done that, right? Because that's for lowbrow people like me. That's for dummies with Joey Beggar Donuts accents who want to lift weights and get strong or get swole or whatever. That's for lowlifes like me, not geniuses like you. You're geniuses. You understand Murray Rothbard and all these other fucking faggots who have nothing to do with any fucking thing. So and you live a life of endless pleasure where other people do the hard shit, and you sit back and you give commentary. I'll give commentary on Afghanistan. I'll give commentary on the left. I'll give like no one, what I mean? This is what you think your fucking future career is going to be, when you give fucking critical commentary on shit that you have no fucking effect on. This is you, right? So you're not going to be like me. You're not going to think, I got to wake up every fucking day. I got to fucking lift. I got to stretch. I got to do body weight shit. I got to fucking, that's not what you're thinking. I'm thinking like, fuck, how much zinc am I taking too much zinc? Am I getting headaches? Whatever. Like, this is not you, right? Because you're a higher level than me. You're a much higher level than me, right? Yeah, you think you're a higher level than me. Let me tell you something. When shit really collapses, and it's going to be relatively soon. Remember, if you're using Afghanistan as the metric, using Afghanistan as the starting point, 2 years after the Soviet Union left Afghanistan, the Soviet Union collapsed. Right, the last troops left Afghanistan in like 1989, like right at the end of after Reagan, and then in 1991 the Soviet Union collapsed. So do we have 2 years? Do we have 3 years? Do we have 18 months? Who fucking knows, right? You see all those pictures of Biden in the war room with the screen that says Doha fucking station. They're doxing the fucking CIA station in Doha, Qatar. You know what I mean? It's like and then he's in two different sets of clothes. One is in a suit, and the other one is in soft clothes. It's a disaster. Everyone knows there's no one at the top. There's literally nothing at the fucking top. It's like all fucking random, And the smart people with a lot of money in this country are going to go, oh shit. And the rule number one, they don't give a fuck about mom, apple pie, baseball, anything. They don't give a fuck about anything about that. Like the pretty girls in bikinis in California or fucking Southern barbecue, or they don't give a fuck about anything. Like my money, how do I protect my money? And they're going to look around and what is solid, what's legit, what is not controlled by this corrupt government. What is the answer to that? We all know what my answer is. Bitcoin. Anybody that's listened to me, I think 97% of people who bought and held Bitcoin are now in profit. 97%. Can you imagine that? Is there anything else? Is there anything else like that you would know of? Here's a great example of why America and its masters have fucking lost something very, very, very important. Here's a guy we all know, everybody knows and loves, little Georgie Soros. George Soros, what the fuck does he have to do with this? He's got a tweet, Tweet from today. I consider Xi Jinping the most dangerous enemy of open societies in the world. Right? This was, does it have the date on it? Doesn't have the date on it. So a lot of people talk about how Israel is the middleman and makes all sorts of money selling American technology to China. And it does. And no doubt that it does. But China's taking of Afghanistan, and they haven't taken it yet, but they will, kind of cuts Israel out of this fucking deal, because Israel, the horse that Israel's riding is called America. All right, let's look in the chat. Comments: and Soros doesn't like China because Chinese banks are state controlled, not controlled by the Rothschilds. Yeah, not controlled by the Jews. The Jews have tried everything they can to do to control the Chinese Communist Party, and they don't really control it at all. So they hate and fear it. That is what drives America's bellicosity towards China. That is what drove Trump's bellicosity towards China. But China is smarter than America, or the elites that run America. And so China is winning. And China, and I guess Russia's going to join them, are going to get a real big boost as everyone stops believing in America. When America loses something, whether it was Vietnam or now Afghanistan, the empire contracts worldwide. You know what I mean? We lost Vietnam at the same time we went off the gold standard, but right around. So, we still had some power then. We don't have nearly as much power now. And everyone's going to look sideways at America thinking, you're not the strong horse anymore. And they're going to look at China and go, well, you know what? It looks like a better deal. It looks like a lot better deal. So listen, it doesn't matter about the fucking goat herders and all the guys that died over there. None of that means shit. You know what I mean? The fucking government doesn't care, and nobody fucking cares. You know what I mean? This is a much bigger game. It's a bigger game than the dumb shit you're talking about on social media. You know what I mean? And here, there's another thing I want to say. Here's a guy who understood a thing or two about a thing or two. My man, OV would like this if OV was actually an actual guinea, but he's not. Here it is. Here, how exciting. Nicholas Copernicus, the man who officially discovered, at least in the Christian era, heliocentrism. That is to say, that the sun is the center of our planetary system, of our solar system, and that the Earth revolves around the sun and not vice versa. What does Nicholas Copernicus write? Nations are not ruined by one act of violence, but gradually and in an almost imperceptible manner by the depreciation of their circulating currency through its excessive quantity. Now, do you think you, sitting there in the chat, or anybody watching this later, do you really think you're smarter than Copernicus? If Copernicus, with no high-tech instruments, could figure out that the Earth revolves around the sun and not vice versa, and be so certain of it that he would challenge the church itself and all existing political beliefs, right, about what the world is and how it works. He was right. He's in the history books. And what does he say about money? Should I read it again? Nations are not ruined by violence. Oh, what the hell happened? Hey, what the fuck? Come back, Copernicus. He vanished from history. He popped out, but where did they bring him back? Like Bill and Ted's Magical Adventure there. Nations are not ruined by one act of violence, not one loss in war, but gradually and in an almost imperceptible manner by the depreciation of their circulating currency through its excessive quantity. Nicholas Copernicus is saying, money printer go burr is bad. Copernicus, right? He's a smart guy. He's smarter than me. But he and I seem to be on more or less the same page. So did I get lucky? You could say, yeah, James, you got lucky because you're a retard. Okay, I'm a retard. However, are you gonna counter signal Copernicus? Or you fucking Eurofappers? Right? So the world works in very different ways than you think it does. And oh wait, here's the EBT fucking quote. Pump that up. Pump it up. Come on. I'm not making this up. You think I'm making this up? You think I'm just randomly just making shit up? No, I'm not. No. I'm saying things that Twitter says is true. Here's the story. Biden to give biggest permanent boost to food stamp benefits. An extra 25% of calories to people who already do no fucking work and eat too much. They sit there in front of a giant flat screen TV that they looted from Walmart or Target the last time some good boy who didn't do nothings took the room temperature challenge with the police, and so that required some reparations justice, and you got to do flat screen and you know what I mean, more fried chicken to fucking sit there and stuff into your fucking fat cheeks while you watch CNN tell you how where you sit there on a couch that somebody else paid for in an apartment that someone else pays for, eating food that someone else paid for, wearing $200 sneakers that you stole from Foot Locker, right? Telling you how oppressed you are. Yeah, that's going to work. And this is not getting better. No one's going to fix this. Ron DeSantis is not going to fix this. Tulsi Gabbard, she's not coming back. But if Tulsi Gabbard comes back on the Democratic Party, she's not going to. Who's going to fucking fix this? Nobody's fixing this. There's no fixing this, right? What you need to do is get the fuck out of the way of the worst of this shit. Pick your head up from your fucking smartphone and look around to make sure that nothing, nobody's starting to shoot or fucking stab or fucking do anything crazy. And if you do, okay, where's the exit door? Like I have to run 50 yards. If you can't run 50 yards to the doors to get out of there, well, maybe you got to think about hiding. This is the way you're gonna have to think in the future. You go, oh no, not me, James. I don't. Again, I'm above you. I am up here. You are down here. You have to be down there with those low IQ, violent people, and I am. Okay. You better hope it never fucking touches you because you're not fucking ready. You're really not fucking ready. And people like me are. I haven't had the worst life ever. I had some hard knocks. Other people have had far worse. Other people have been broken completely. But I know that shit can go sideways, and I know I need to get the fuck out of here. And I'm aware of that wherever I am. And I can walk into any room with any fucking group of people, and I can get along with them. You know what I mean? You can't. You fucking can't. And the thing I was looking at the stream with OV, the last one. That got 71 fucking views. Most of my streams get like 25 or 30 views. That one got more than double. Why? Because I'm crazy drunk. I'm screaming at a Fed, right? That appears to be my purpose in fucking life. Get lit online and yell at some government agent, like a fucking Looney Tunes. But here's the thing: nobody wants to do blood sports. Not for nothing though. The thing about OV that's boring, I have to I'm scraping like the bottom of the barrel. That's like how many times have I fucking smashed that guy? And you saw at the end of the stream, he's just like this. He has nothing to fucking say. And all his DOJ friends in their little chat box are wiped out. Going up against me verbally is a fucking bad fucking idea. Like a really bad idea. But, and for me personally, listen, in my real life, I go into all sorts of different places and I can walk into a room full of strangers. Honest to God, I can do this. Walk into a room full of strangers and listen to what they're talking about. And I get a sense of what they're talking about, how it's flowing, how you're like, and I can just fucking say something that's fucking funny. I can just boom and start. But I kind of need the novelty of a different room of different people. When I'm up against OV, it was the same fucking opponent again and again and again, and he's just covered up in a fucking corner, and I'm wailing away at him. It's not that interesting. It's not. I have to do desperate fucking things to make it interesting, and that's why bother. But that shows my desperation because I'm trying to I'm trying to make this channel maybe something more than like drunken fucking monologues. Good luck with that. And I'm like DMing people. I'm trying to politely invite people. I'm trying to fucking fight with people, and nobody wants even a virtual conflict on YouTube. So, but that's what makes people watch the channel, right? That's why my subscriptions went from 38 to 42, which doesn't sound like much, but it's like a fucking 20% increase, right? Or 15 to 20% increase. So, listen, things are the way they are. I want to warn people, one, the US dollar is poison. You need to get out of that and you need to get into Bitcoin, okay? I'm 100% with this. Anyone that's listened to me has profited. Anyone that will listen now will profit even in a greater fashion in the future. Where's what's that? No, I've seen that. I just showed that one. Yeah, none of this is all shit. Okay. This is all shit. It's a fair argument, right? This is my argument. The Federal Reserve, central bank, runs all the 84 central banks on the planet Earth. They're all printing money like crazy. Money printing or inflation devalues your goods, your services. It's theft from you, the individual, and you have no control over it. Okay? Everything that is denominated in dollars will eventually crash because the people that control the dollars will run them to zero. You need something that is not denominated in dollars. That's Bitcoin. That is specifically limited, cannot be inflated, cannot be taken from you in order to protect yourself from the coming hyperinflation. Now, there is no one anywhere not saying inflation is out of control. Like I said, Chef Andrew Gruel says lobsters have tripled. Lobster prices have tripled for the restaurant industry in the United States in the last month. You can't sell lobster in a restaurant anymore. Who the fucking, listen, there's a girl a million years ago, this was in the 90s. Her name was Christine. She dyed her hair fucking super like fire truck red. And she loved lobster. And I said, take her to the Spanish joint for lobsters. And at the time, this was on Staten Island. I was paying, probably like $80 to $100 for dinner for both of us. I'd get the steak, she'd get the lobster. But whatever the fuck the lobster cost, it didn't cost that much. It was like $30. Maybe back then, like that. Today, it would be that same fucking lobster. She used to get these big female lobsters with the roe in it, the green stuff, and she would gobble that stuff up. She loved that shit. And what does a lobster dinner cost? Like a real lobster dinner even at a mediocre place in fucking Manhattan, there's no way you're getting that fucking entree for less than $125 in Manhattan. You know what I mean? Or Chicago or some big city. Like there's no fucking way. You're going to have like a real chef prepare you like lobster Newburg or something like that. You know what I mean? And the price has tripled. Yeah, there's a tiny, tiny slice of the restaurant going clientele who are COVID vaxxed and you know what I mean? Like double vaxxed and whatever, and willing to wear the mask and willing to pay $150 for one entree just for the chick, right? Not counting everything else, the bottle of fucking wine and everything else on the fucking dinner check, right? With the mask and all the whole. Like, do you understand how this is not going to fucking work? You get that this is not going to work. So what about little guys that pull lobsters out of the ocean? What about those fishermen? What happens to them? If nobody wants to buy lobsters because they're too fucking expensive, what happens to those fishermen? Well, they go on unemployment, right? They're seasonal workers or whatever. Well, what about the lobster? What about seafood fucking restaurants? Like real proper seafood joints? How are you going to pay that? You know what I mean? How are you going to pay that monthly fucking rent if nobody's coming in to buy your fucking $150, $250, $300 fucking lobster dinner? How are you going to do that? How's this going to work? Restaurant closes, bye-bye. More people on welfare, more people on food stamps, more people on government assistance. That's why the Bitcoin super cycle, where Bitcoin goes up and just keeps going up, because the printer has to keep going burr. More money for food stamps. More fucking, well, you can't evict them because there's a rent eviction. Because it's not COVID Delta variant. It's Delta, Epsilon, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, Indigo. They're going to have a different one, right? Forever and ever and ever. Until the elites squeeze the fuck out of everything. Every fucking thing. Are you going to die? Do you think they fucking care? You think they fucking care? Do you think they care? Do you really think that now? Thank God I don't do much of this. The people that control the people you vote for don't give a fuck whether you live or die or whatever happens. So when you can't pay your rent, when you can't buy food, and somebody says to you, wow, hey, you have a daughter, don't you? Yeah, she's 6 years old. Oh, what a cute girl. Have you ever considered an OnlyFans? And you're going to go, what the fuck? OnlyFans for a 6-year-old? Oh, come on. You have your little kid in the bathtub and they put the fucking soap in their hair. And It's the camera. It's the camera right there. Your rent is high. You're deep in debt. No one's going to know. Some people are going to go nuts, but some people are going to go, well, I don't know. Right? You think they won't do that? You think they're not pedos? Oh, do you want to get out of debt? We can see from your EBT activity, you haven't had a steak in 2 years. We haven't had meat in 6 months. We know times are tough. We sympathize with you. Your children are so adorable. You think somebody won't pitch it like that? Yeah, they fucking will. Here's another thing. I was thinking about this. I don't even have this in my notes. This shows even as my fucking mind as underwater as it is. Still I can think. AIG. Everybody remember AIG, American Insurance Group? You don't remember. The Too Big to Fail, 2008 mortgage meltdown thing. The American Insurance Group was the original Too Big to Fail company. Why? Because American Insurance Group was an umbrella group that owned a lot of insurance companies. Those insurance companies insured airports, entire cities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. AIG stock, which I don't know what the fuck its height was, it eventually went down to like pennies, like literally pennies. 10, 20 cents in 2009. And small investors, retail investors, like, holy shit, this used to be a $60 stock. Now it's 15 cents. And they bought thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of shares. Right? What happened when the economy recovered after TARP 2, after Obama did TARP 2, and the money started flowing again, was what's called a reverse stock split. Now, there's a stock, what is a stock split? I'll explain that. Let's say it's XYZ company. It doesn't matter what company it is. XYZ company, we have 1 million shares of stock, and the stock price has gone up to $100. And now it's expensive, so people are not trading it too much. It's not trading a whole lot. So what the company does is they split the stock. They decide to give you 4 shares for every 1 share you currently own. So instead of 1 share at $25, you have 4 shares. I'm sorry, 1 share at $100. You have 4 shares at $25. So you don't lose, right? And what generally happens, at least this has happened in the last 10 or 15, 20 years, in the stock market is when the stock splits, 4 for 1, 2 for 1, 3 for 1, whatever, it's whatever level it splits down to, it usually rises back up to its pre-split price within 6 months to a year. So a stock split is good for the shareholders, right? You had 10 shares at 100. Now you have 40 shares at 25. But those $25 shares, because it's so desirable now, because there's so much profit or whatever happening, those $25 shares become 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. You go back up to $100. You quadrupled your fucking money. This is great. I love stock splits. AIG had a reverse stock split. What is that? What is that? What is that? What do you mean reverse stock split? So let's say you own 10,000 shares of AIG, which you bought at 25 cents. Now the price has gone up 25 cents, 35, 45, 55, $1, $1.50, $1.75, $2, $3. You're like, fuck yes, I'm making money. I bought it 25 cents. The shit's at fucking $3. I own 10,000 shares. AIG announced, we're doing a reverse stock split. Huh? What's that? For every 1,000 shares you used to have, you now have 1 share. Huh? So your $3 stock just became a $30 stock. So you made money, right? No, you didn't. You used to have 1,000 shares. Now you have one share. Yeah, but I have one share at $30,000, right? Well, no, because the difference between the 30 cents you paid and the fucking $30 it is now, you have to come up with that in order to own that share. What do you mean? But I owned it. But the difference, when it goes up, I should get it. Well, it goes up if it was 10,000 shares, but now it's only one share. So not only did you not make money, you owe us $29,000. That's what actually happened with fucking AIG. That happened to tons of retail investors. He said, well, who gives a fuck about some obscure shit that happened in 2008, 2007? Let me explain something to you, kids. The days of cash money are fucking short. Paying in cash, cash is king, that's going away. They want everything digital. And here's what they're going to do. Here's what they're going to do, and I'm predicting this right now. Here's what they're going to do. At some point in the future, you're going to have $10,000, 10,000 USD in the bank. I got $10,000. I've been working hard. I've been saving. I've been eating ramen noodles. I've been fucking whatever, buying clothes at the Salvation Army. I got 10 grand saved up. You know what I mean? And they're gonna say, "Oh, congratulations, America! Hooray! Yay! Everybody can applaud. We have a new president, a new chairman of the Federal Reserve." And they're gonna say, "We're switching to a digital dollar. We're entering the 21st century. America will be competitive, and this will give us back our economic edge and give prosperity." Blah, 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 blah. Right? And here's what they're going to do. For every 10,000 paper dollars you have, they're going to give you 100 digital dollars. You're going to go, what? What? No. I had 10,000. I saved money. I worked very hard. 10,000 fucking dollars I had in the bank. What do you mean I only have, what the fuck do you mean I only have $1,000? Well, you had 10,000 paper dollars. We've now moved to the digital dollar. And so, yeah, you only have $1,000. People are going to lose their fucking shit. And what are you going to say about it? Because all the private banks are going to be gone. You'll only have your own personal account at the Federal Reserve. And they're going to say, oh, you see, the $10,000 you had were at private banks. This is the Federal Reserve. And the way the exchange rate works, your $10,000 is only $1,000. They're going to do a reverse split on your fucking money, on the dollars and if you've got paper stacked in a shoebox somewhere, nobody's going to take that fucking paper. Nobody's going to take that paper. That's what they're going to do to you. And you look at me and go, no, they won't do it. Yes, they will do it. Why would they do it? They make you wear a mask to go to fucking Kmart. You know what I mean? They make you do all kinds of shit right now, and you're going to keep doing it because you don't want to be homeless and fucking starving. So when they take your paper dollars in the bank, which are not really paper dollars, it's still digital anyway, and they reduce them. You used to have 10, now you have 1. Oh, well, hey, taxpayer, don't be a racist. Why haven't you let a transgender fucking, what is it, what do they call them? Transgender story hour into your fucking house to read stories to your kids? Really? Yeah, and you want your fucking $10,000 back? This is why you Bitcoin. Because you know, like the stuff I'm describing, you're like, oh, it's a dystopian fantasy. It's whatever. Yeah, it's not as far off as you're thinking, you know it. And you're sitting there thinking, fuck, this dude with the Joey Bag of Donuts accent could be fucking right. How is he wrong? So that's why we Bitcoin. That's why we take our shitty fucking green Zog bucks and get rid of them, because the people that control them are evil, insane. They hate us and want us dead. So we just exit their fucking system. We're existing in a different system, the Bitcoin system, the Bitcoin standard, which is going to be a very, very different world than this world. Inverse. Everything we do is wrong. Everything we do is the exact opposite. Bitcoin is going to flip this. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in 5 years. But it's going to continue to happen. As they continue to fuck up, in the same way that we wasted $2.4 trillion, I don't know how many fucking lives, in Afghanistan for fucking 21 years, right? And then lost to China. That 21 years was what? China was just getting stronger the whole time. We're getting weaker the whole time. China's going to do the Silk Road from Peking to fucking London. The Jews, George Soros being the exemplar of this, are screaming at the top of their lungs. America is screaming at the top of its lungs. But America's not going to fuck with China, because China has 300 nuclear missiles. 300 nuclear missiles. You ain't going to fuck with them. You can talk all the shit you want to your domestic audience, to talk tough, but you ain't going to do fuck all. You ain't going to do fucking shit. Bitcoin is the best hope for everyone in every fucking way. That people like me, that it took me as long as it took me to fucking figure this out. But the difference between me and everyone else is I'm willing to abandon every fucking idea. The great good fortune I've had, and I'm not kidding you, now it's one of those things where it looks like bad luck, but then you look at it later, it looks like good luck, and it looks like bad luck again. As time goes by, your perspective changes. The great good fortune I've had in having a mentally ill parent, having been put in an orphanage as a kid, is I've had everything taken away from me, and everything I believe stripped from me. And I've been forced to fucking mouth fucking things I didn't fucking believe to people I didn't know at a very early age. And so I know this can happen. You say, well, listen, everyone's not like you, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I get that. You think, well, that's not going to happen to me, James, because I come from a better family. I'm higher up the social scale than you, blah, 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 blah. And you watch food get more expensive. And you watch fucking gasoline get more expensive. And you watch society get more violent. And you watch the government get more controlling. And you're like, oh, what can we do? I already know. There ain't a fucking thing you can do. If you play this game, you're going to lose. The best thing you can do, the smartest thing you can do for yourself and everyone you care about, is to, as quickly as you can, while Zog bucks still have some fucking value, get rid of them and change them for fucking Bitcoin. There was a time in this country when there were the Confederate States, right? The war between the states, the Civil War. The Confederate States had their own money, Confederate dollars. And they bought real things. They bought food, they bought guns, they bought everything. You could sell cotton for them, you could do whatever. And then when the Confederates lost the Civil War, that was all worthless paper. Weimar, worthless paper. Hungary, hyperinflation, worthless paper. Zimbabwe, $1 trillion bills, worthless paper. If you stay in this government system controlled by a corrupt elite that hates you and wants you dead, if you stay there, you deserve to stay there. Some of us are smarter, braver, tougher than you, more likely to survive than you, have chosen a different fucking path. And everyone who's done this, or 97 out of 100 people who've done this, have profited. And so, that's the endless message of this fucking channel. Anybody that's talking about some other shit You faggoty ass kings. I say this deliberately just to trigger you cunts, because you're cunts. But it's true. It is historically true. Democracy has slain the god kings of old. Democracy has slain you. All your kings, all your fucking heroes have died in front of a different system. And why? You think you're clever and smart and you don't have an answer for that. Oh, James, you're asking questions no one can answer. Well, I can answer them. I can answer them. You can't. The reason why is because I'm willing to follow the truth wherever it goes, and you have a fucking worldview that you have to look through, that you desperately cling to. That's the difference between me and you. Zed Dez. You understand why I have my worldview? I'm not asking for sympathy. There are people 10 times that have things 100 times worse than me. I'm not crying for sympathy. I swear to God, I'm not. What I'm trying to convey to you is that at some point, for me, it was very young, and with circumstances outside my control. But whatever, it's other people, it's older at different times. When everything you believe to be true is ripped away from you and you have to adapt, you have to be resourceful. This happened for me at a very young age. It's how I am the way I am. It's why I can continue to do what I do, right? It's why I didn't die 30 fucking years ago, a junkie in an alleyway in the fucking Bowery of Manhattan, right? That there's a reason for that. Like, I got pressed hard, but not too hard that I broke. One more fucking inch would I have broken? I don't fucking know, right? But I understand being in that bad fucking spot, and you don't. Here's the thing the way I see the Western world, most of America, you live a life of pleasure and more pleasure and more pleasure and more pleasure. And then it's become so common to you that a reduction in the amount of pleasure you perceive as pain. It's not pain. It's not even close to pain. It's not even discomfort. But it's pleasure on top of pleasure on top of pleasure. And so when it reduces, oh my God, I'm in pain. You have no fucking idea. You have no idea. When I tell you you're going to get your clock cleaned, that's why you think, oh, I'm going to be sitting in the gulag. I'm going to be we're going to be discussing things, freedom, idealism, and this and that and the other. Listen, you stupid fucking homo. You're going to be in a jail cell. You're going to have like 6 cellmates who are all fucking Negroes and Hispanics, right? All of whom have 75 fucking IQs. They don't know what you're talking about. And if when they perceive you to be weak, they're going to beat the fucking shit out of you and they're going to rape you until you fucking stop moving. And you ain't going to fight back. You're not going to ball up your fist and fight back because you ain't got no experience doing this. And you don't even understand why it needs to be done. You don't understand the consequences of what's coming because you're living in a world of layers and layers and layers of delusions and illusions between you and reality. These are the pleasures you enjoy. I'm telling you, you don't know how bad it's going to get. And even if you say, well, I really am this fucking high above everything and none of it's going to touch me. That may happen. It may be that's true. That you're not a bunch of mentally ill fucking pot smoking Adolf Hitler worshipers in the fucking chat. But what's going to happen, what's going to move things is people you don't know, you don't have any contact with, you don't understand, and you can't communicate with. That's what you are. You are fucking helpless, worthless, and fucking. If you live, it's pure fucking chance. You can say it's God. You can say it's that, but it's 100% fucking chance. give a fuck. Like you, like, listen, I don't need to be fucking understood. What I wanted, what I want to be understood is that I think in a more clear fashion than you do. Because, and especially now, post 50 years old, when you're over 50, I've said this before, there's more life behind you than there is in front of you. Time is getting fucking shorter. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Nelson Rockefeller had 7 heart transplants, still croaked at 80, whatever. God knows. I would love to know how much money was spent bribing doctors and fucking transplant people around the world to get their cocksuckers 7 heart transplants. Rockefeller money. It gave him a few more years. You think a few more years, but it's not a few more years. It's not a few more years snorting coke out of a supermodel's ass crack and driving Lamborghinis. You're popping pills 14 times a day, anti-rejection drugs, for that fucking pump in your fucking chest. You're never this fucking far from a fucking doctor. Yeah, it's life. Technically, it's life. Technically, it's life. But it's not it's not life like I have it. Like I woke up this morning and I fucking, you know what I mean? And I fucking put the fucking barbell on my back and I lifted and I fucking, well, before I did that, I was like, I did my infinity walk and my other fucking thing, all these fucking bizarre shit things I do, and loosen my hamstrings and blah, 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 blah. And I did empty fucking the body weight squats, and then I did fucking barbell squats, ass to grass. You know what I mean? And then I did fucking chest, and then I did fucking shoulders, and then I did all this fucking stuff. And the Rockefellers who sit and all they do is have pleasures. Like alcohol is a pleasure, without doubt. Obviously, we can see that from me. But alcohol, food, sleep, it's a pleasure. Sex is a pleasure. All of the, like when your life is nothing but pleasures and more pleasures and nothing but pleasure, and if it doesn't please me, it does not exist. When that's your life, you are weak beyond what you know. And you think, well, why would you lift heavy shit? Why would you push yourself, your fucking limbs to the fucking extreme, you know, and like make your muscles fucking hurt and make your fucking bones fucking on fire? The reason why is because you're strong afterwards. You know what I mean? That's why you drive adaptation towards a goal you want. So, but rich people are like, oh, you'll do that for me. Well, once you're fucking lazy and stupid and your fucking arteries in your arms are clogged with cholesterol, yeah, a doctor can fucking stick a thing in your neck and clean it out, but that's not the way you prefer to do it. You know what I mean? Somebody like me, a prole, a fucking pleb, or whatever, you know what I mean, who deliberately chooses to stress themselves in a way that produces a desired outcome, has a better quality of life than these fucking Rockefellers. You don't know that. Earlier in the stream, I should have had fucking dinner tonight. I didn't have dinner tonight. Dinner tonight for me was a bottle of red wine. Probably should have been that, but I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to do a food thing next stream on President Obama's 60th birthday, what he eats versus what I eat. You think all pleasure all the time is the ideal life, and you're wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong, and I can prove to you in 100 ways you're wrong. But you're not going to listen. You're like, no. I've spent my entire life lying here and being flat and soft. And like you know, that's not the way to go. It's so not the fucking way to go. That's not what you intended to be. And a life doing that will lead to expenses at the end that you cannot afford. let's look in the chat. Let's look in the chat. What? Wow. Okay. Zed Dez and Tom Anderson going back and forth in the chat. Zed Dez, we need systems though. Tom Anderson, we need systems. Yeah, you don't understand anything about systems. Even if it's small, we are to survive. You don't understand any fucking thing. Zed Dez, I got pressed pretty damn hard, James, even though I was raised in wealth. Not impossible, but I don't know. What are you judging it against? You need a metric upon which you can judge this. Yeah. Zed Dez, you had worse than me. Yeah, maybe. Men don't like to hear this, but as a female, I'm extremely violent. It was learned, not my preference. Well, you never been punched in the face. You gotta watch those. You gotta watch these videos. Particularly, it's hyper instructional. You watch black females, like these super overweight black females. I remember this video from a while back. It was like, I think it was Atlanta. It was like car night or whatever. It's a monster, fucking big fat black dude, and he's chilling. He's leaning back against the fucking car or whatever. And this bitch comes up to him and she's like, bah, 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 bah. And he's like, just standing there, and he's like, he's trying to do the noble thing. I'm not going to hit a female. I'm not going to hit a female. And our friend comes over, and they're running their mouths. And he's just standing there. He's like, I'm a fucking black dude who's like 6'4" and 275 pounds. And this fucking little thing goes, whap. And he's like, are you fucking, like literally the guy drops him like, are you fucking kidding me? In public, you did this. And she goes to smack him again, and he goes, bang, and he drops this fucking bitch, drops like a sack of shit. And her friend goes, bah, 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 and he steps over the one he just dropped and said, like, what the fuck you got to say? And the second was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You think you got it bad. You think you know until reality hits you, right? This guy was trying to, I swear to God, I remember seeing this and going, you know what? He may be 85 IQ. He may be, you know, a fucking entire fucking bucket of Popeye's chicken dude, but he's making an effort in terms of self-restraint to not be a jerk, but fuck this bitch doesn't fucking push him into it. And she did. So, and he fucking, that's it. Okay, honey, you opened up the fucking, the genie's fucking bottle. Here you go. Here's fucking equality. Bang, and he clocks her. And that's it. And I mean, this woman fell flat and just did not fucking move. Like, did not move. And I remember thinking, like, well, I'm not 100% sure the guy's wrong. Like, you want to be, honest to God, I could see this guy's trying to be decent, and you won't allow it. If you really want to push this, do you really want to push this? You think you know where it's going? You don't know where it's fucking going. You're not used to this. You're not accustomed to this. You don't know how bad it's going to fucking get. You don't fucking know. You don't know from fucking experience. You don't know. So, said that you were a millionaire and your parents were mean to you, I'm sorry. You know, that sucks. I know the psychological end can be pretty fucked up. But there's far worse out there. There's far, far worse out there. Look, there's 2 hours I'm going. It's only midnight. It's only midnight. That's how drunk I am. I think it's only midnight. Zed Des, I'm in my 40s. Yeah, James, Zed Des in the chat. She's from Canada. She's a doctor. Had to pause for a sec. Husband just came in the door after helping our Horsey neighbors fill their barn with hay. That's the thing. Uh, you live. I'm not saying that your life is easy. I don't know what your life is, but you need to watch hood rat videos. You need to watch. You need to watch people get beaten to the ground and then kicked when they're on the ground, and then people laugh at them and piss in their face. You don't fucking understand. It's beyond. It's beyond what you consider acceptable behavior. And again, for a lot of people who view this channel or channels like this, you think, "Oh, I'm above that. I'm going to." When your parents' money runs out, when the money doesn't, you say, "Well, oh, I won't have lobster because it's $300 this week." That's fine. But when the Mexican truck driver is too afraid to deliver food to wherever the fuck you live, and you really have to, it's not what the fuck you call it? What the fuck is it? Shit, imperfect starvation. What do they call it? Not improvised. What the fuck? When you not you literally starve yourself. What the fuck do they call it? The weightlifting idiots call themselves. I can't remember. They're like deliberate starvation to make fucking muscle gains or whatever they call it. Fuck, I can't remember. Cocksucker. Intermittent fasting. Fuck. Intermittent fasting. Well, then it's not intermittent fasting because you want to. It's intermittent fasting. It's mittent fasting because there ain't no fucking food in the store. There's no food at any price. You throw all the money you have and there's no food at any price. When it's mittent fasting and it's not voluntary, oh yeah, you're going to fucking understand then. You're going to understand that. Have I been kidnapped? No, I've not been kidnapped. No, I have not been kidnapped. Zed Dez in the chat, you've been kidnapped. Who got arrested for that? I'll tell you what. You take the time, think about your kidnapping, calling the police, your rescue. Who got arrested when you went to court? Think about that whole story. I'll be back. BRB. I'm going to be back. You get those details together, hon. And we'll hear that in about 2.5 or 3 minutes. All right. So see you guys shortly. Oy vey. All right. I cannot literally believe how long this takes. You've been kidnapped. I don't assume anything about your parents or your father. I don't have to watch. I lived it. Zdes in the chat. I did find the light. Knew it was before what came after. Because you were actually kidnapped. All right. Zdes claiming she was kidnapped in Canada. Who investigated that? Who's the lead investigator? Was it the RCMP, or was there law enforcement involved? Because if you're actually kidnapped and somebody reported it to law enforcement, that's like a real kidnapping, right? The RCMP, someone is arrested, there's a hearing, there's a trial, there's statements, etc., right? I got stuck up at gunpoint on September 17th, 1991. The guy who stuck me up was named Christopher, what the fuck was his name? Walt something. Watts, not Watts. Fuck. Christopher something or other. Slightly shorter than me, 5'9". It was at Morningstar Road in Richmond, Morningstar Road and Forest Avenue on Staten Island. There was a robbery occurred near a McDonald's restaurant. I was forced out of the car at gunpoint at a street called Trantor, Trantor Place. Short distance away, near a high school called Port Richmond High School. What the fuck was the guy's name? Christopher, how can I ever remember his name? Christopher something. It's Christopher something. It's going to come to me. The guy used to force me out of the car at gunpoint. I had a circle behind my fucking right, what is this? My right ear. Of it was a Smith & Wesson 38 5-shot revolver with a recessed hammer. It was nickel plated. He pressed it so hard behind my fucking ear, it left a mark for like a day and a half. There was some other things. Anyway, so he used the taxi as a getaway car. He drove at high speed past NYPD Street Crimes Unit in the Park Hill area where the Wu-Tang Clan was from. The Wu-Tang Clan from the 90s. He whipped past them at fucking 85 or 90 miles an hour. And they started chasing him, thinking it was just like a crazy cab driver on crack. They chased him. There was a high-speed chase along the North Shore of Staten Island in speeds of excess of 90 miles an hour, where he ended up crashing. He went over a sidewalk through a fence, crashed into the foundation of someone's house on West of Elth Avenue in, what the fuck was it? On New Brighton, an area called New Brighton. The two police officers, one was named Horn, that was the female, she was short and blonde, actually kind of cute. No, I'm sorry. Horn was the big dude. He was actually named Horn. He was like a big fucking blonde Viking looking dude. And the short female was called Derbyshire. Officers Horn and Derbyshire were the ones who were the first ones on the scene. They effected the arrest. They got the gun, the money, etc., etc. Okay. I was at a payphone near the high school. This was in the early 90s. This was 1991. So, it's like my heart's like beating through my fucking chest. This guy he went into my pockets. He went through my socks. You know what I mean? This was a crazy experience, thief. What the fuck was the guy's name? Christopher? Fuck. It's pissing me off. I can't remember his name. I've said it before. Anyway, I get picked up by my taxi service, brought to the office. Everybody's going, what happened? I start telling the story, blah, 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 this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. Somebody else comes in, no, wait, start from the beginning. Tell me what happened. And I start telling the story all over again. Blah, 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 da, 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 da. And then goes, no, stop. Tell it again. At some point, 911 calls the taxi office and says, can you bring the driver to XYZ location, which was west of Elk Avenue in New Brighton, and make a field identification. So driver name, Nikki, whatever, he was a crackhead. No, Eric. I'm sorry. Eric was his name. Eric the crackhead. I call him Eric the crackhead. That's not what we called him. Eric, I can't remember what his name was. So we drove out there. There's the guy. He had a gold earring. Blah, 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 blah. They asked me to describe the firearm. I described the firearm. Officer Horn was holding the firearm in a paper bag. Like he said, "Can you describe the firearm?" I was like, "It was a silver revolver." Blah, 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 blah. And he goes, "Bingo. It's over, right?" Not even close to fucking over. NYPD, Department of Corrections calls me, all kinds of fucking people. I have to come in and testify to the grand jury. I testify to the grand jury. Whole fucking thing. Right? I know every fucking thing that happened to me when I was stuck up at fucking gunpoint in 1991. That was the time that the cops were involved. There were other times I was shot at. We didn't even bother. Like years after that, I didn't bother calling the cops because it was so fucking common that people would throw chairs off a fucking building to try and stop the car in the middle of the road so that the guys in front of the projects could like surround the car, rip open the doors, and take any whatever was inside. Yeah, I did. You know, like I learned you hit the fucking chair with the car and you just push the fucking thing up the road. You just step on the fucking accelerator and you fucking push whatever the fuck it is past the projects, stop, hit fucking reverse, go around the fucking thing and leave. I fucking remember now, fucking decades later, exactly the fucking names, the dates, the times, what it fucking looked like. Christopher Altman. Christopher Altman was the guy's fucking name. I can do this shit off the top of my head. After I drank an entire bottle of this, and everybody knows James's favorite Kool-Aid. You know why? Because it's fucking real. Because it happened to me. I remember all the fucking details. All the fucking details. You know why? Because I don't talk shit. Difference between me and everyone else you fucking watch. Judas Chai Waffen, I should say. I keep using your old screen name. I'm sorry. Judas Chai Waffen. I was born on September 22, 1992. I'm turning 29 next month. Well, happy birthday in advance, Judas Chai Waffen. You know, I hope you have a happy 29th. I hope you get married and have nice kids and live a normal, happy life. 2 minutes, 2 hours, 7 minutes. Fuck it. I'm still going. You know what? Fuck it. I'm still going. I still got notes. I got notes I haven't fucking touched. There was a thing about the fucking the Afghanistan thing where like they said like Syrian partisan girl who I follow, who I like. It was like they took the dogs on the plane, but they wouldn't let the Afghans on the plane. First off, the dogs are loyal to America, okay? And those dogs, they're all German Shepherd dogs. Beautiful, fucking gorgeous dogs. Will protect Americans like they will do. They will give up their lives to protect Americans. And they have worked every day to protect Americans. And they're loyal to Americans. The Afghans on the plane, not loyal to Americans. Not worked every day to fucking save Americans. They're not going to protect Americans at all. So, yeah, put the dogs on the fucking plane. I'm 100% okay with that. And I don't give a fuck how many of those cocksuckers fall off the landing gear. I don't care. America wins, we lose. What does fucking, you think you're a nationalist? Well, you're a nationalist unless you work for the government. You're a nationalist, well, if you work for the Parks Department, yes, I'm for you. But if you were in the fucking Air Force, I'm against you. You fucking retards, you gay-ass fucking retards are going to be scraped. Like, you're less than what's going to be scraped off the fucking sidewalk of history. You're less than that. I try to explain to people that the people who control the money printer in America, which controls the world, are insane and evil. Want you dead. They want you to be a debt slave forever, and they want to rape your children. And there's nothing, you're not going to fight them in the current system, right? You're going to go up against the fucking guys who protect the money printer. The guys who protect the fucking money printer. Do you even know what the fuck that looks like? Do you know what the fuck these guys are like? I don't think you do. You listen to shitheads like Richard Spencer and whatever the fuck Nick Fuentes. They're all fucking feds. They're all fucking feds. Do you understand? They're all feds. None of them are not feds. Come on, show us. If you insist on being stupid in the real world fashion, okay. All right. I swear to God, I try to steer everyone I can in the best direction that I can steer them. You want to play on social media? It's all a game to you. Okay. All right. It's a game to me too. It's a game where I win and you have fun staying poor. You have dumb people and delulu people. Crazy people who ignore reality that think they're going to have some influence. You're crazy people. You're not going to have any influence. You were born, you will live, you will die, and history will not fucking take note. No one will note your passing. For most people, this is horrifying. Oh my God. I gotta snort coke. I gotta gamble. I gotta fuck. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Like the reality of facing this is more than you can handle. But it's gonna happen anyway. I suggest ways that would be better for you to handle, to deal with it. You can tell me to go fuck myself. All right. Whatever. I don't like the way the world is any more than you do. However, I'm seeking an effective fucking counter for that. A way to counter that. And you're not. You're in a dream world where some king, some monarch, the once and future king comes back and he's wise and knowledgeable and he can solve all your problems and he can do this and it's efficient. And it's not like shitty democracy and like you're living in a dream world. And you can afford that because your parents are the bulwark between you and reality. That will not last forever. That will not last forever. And no matter what your circumstance, I'm trying to keep you from going down blind alleys. You know what I mean? Can I do this? Probably not. It's a waste of time. People are sitting here, they're eating popcorn, going, is some fucking guy from FBI or fucking DOJ gonna come on? Is he gonna yell and scream at them? Is he gonna curse like a lunatic? Yeah, well, occasionally. But I'd really like to be able to say, hey, listen, don't go that way. It's a bad way. You're not going to get anywhere. Go that way. It'll be much better for you. It seems worth my time to do this as a hobby. You know, I'm sitting home, no motorcycle. I actually bought, I mentioned this in the next stream, but managed to buy some pistol ammo. I don't have it in front of me. Fucking $30 a box. I used to pay $15 a box. $30 a box for 9 mil. 124 grain. Some fucking brand I never heard of. It's got a girl on the box. It's like a girly man ammo. And I'm like, really? They're like, limit 2 boxes. I'm like, yeah, I want to give it to me. Because you haven't been able to buy anything in a fucking year plus. So I bought it just to add to what I already have. It's not like they don't have anything, but I would prefer to have more than less. Is this going to be useful in the future? Well, if I can get a fucking training opportunity, because I haven't had any in a while. But the way you think things are going to go and the way things are going to go are very different. Most of what you believe is not true. And you believe it because it's convenient or whatever. And I'm trying to suggest to you that you need to think differently in order to make it. NGMI, right? Not going to make it? Well, a lot of you are not going to make it. And that's mostly your own fault. And when you blame someone else, no one's going to give a fuck. Anyway, what is this? 2 hours and 15. I'm going to bail. I'm going to bail. My voice is going anyway. How the fuck is that possible? Pollen is supposed to go down at night. You're supposed to like have less pollen at night. And it seems to me that like it's just like the fucking, or I'm just fucking dehydrated from talking for 2 hours and 15 minutes nonstop. Anyway, Tom Anderson, even though you're a dishonest person who claims you pulled 1226 at a powerlifting meet and have a 28-year-old virginal girlfriend, I can't ban you from this channel because I don't entirely control this channel. Zendez, the kidnapped victim, without a story of who, where, when, why, the courts, the police, anything you can't seem to remember, but you were kidnapped. Sure you were, love. Sure you were. Everything you fucking say online is the truth. Sure it is. No details, no belief. I did this, I did that, I did it. Yeah, sure you are. I'm the fucking king of Spain. My name is Louis XIII. What, you don't believe that? Okay. Anyway, for all the mentally ill people who bothered to show up, take your fucking lithium. Take your lithium. Right? And put on your straight jacket and fucking go to sleep. We're done with you. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I'm gonna bail on this. I'm gonna play the outro music, which surprisingly is the same as the intro music. Everybody that stuck through this, through the whole fucking thing, thanks. Get rid of your Zog bucks. Buy Bitcoin. It's the best possible future, whether you understand it or not. And I will talk to you guys next week. We'll see what happens. Anyway, good night.